I don't know what's going on. All right. Tuesday morning, and what do we have in store for today? Well, I'll tell you what we have in store for today. Would you believe there are only two potential baseball games for this year, and that's it. Only two. At most, two Major League Baseball games remaining in 2019. What we're going to talk about today is free agents, potential free agents, and where they're going to wind up. In addition to that, we've got some pretty good notes on some of the stuff. Okay, there you go. Angie's pointing stuff out. The Dodgers, by the way, are expected to pursue off-season trades with the Cleveland Indians. That's right. They're looking. The Dodgers are from L.A. Will be looking. This is from John Morosi at MLB Network. The Dodgers will be expected to pursue off-season trade with the Indians for their four-time All-Star Francisco Lindor. They're trying to add some star power to their lineup. One of the things, of course, Cleveland looking to reduce their payroll. The Indians, the cost for Lindor may be really through the roof, and Cleveland may not even be able to afford him. So that's why there's a possibility. Good morning to Doug Boyle. Nice to have you aboard, Dougie. Yep. All right, there it is. Lennys, that's Lenny, has any away team ever won game 1 through 6 of the World Series?
Yes.
The answer to 1 through 6 of the yes, it's happened 4 times. Well, I know it's it's happened 4 times. All right, but we'll get to that in a second. Thank you, Andrea. Adorable. Greg, hope you have sound and everything is good. Okay, there you go. So let's move right along. Unless the Nationals win their 2 road elimination games, okay, the decade's top 4 teams in regular season wins, which would be the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Cardinals, and the Nationals, will combine to win just 1 World Series title, and that would be by St. Louis 8 years ago. How about that one? And of course, for free agency, when we think of Garrett Cole and a New York team, the Yankees are always in there. Why don't we ever think of the Mets? So, I mean, Cole or Rendon for the Mets, that would absolutely upset every apple cart that there ever was. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Will the Mets finally make an effort to enter the free agent market with a bang? We'll see. The Astros outscored the Nationals by 16 runs on the road, and that plus 16 run differential has tied for the largest by any team in 3 straight games, all on the road, within any postseason series, World Series, League Series, the whole thing. So the Astros, 16 run differential on the road, tied for the 4th highest in single World Series. Best run differential on the road, single World Series, 1960 Yankees, 22 as their run differential. The youngest players with multiple home runs in the World Series would be Andrew Jones, Mickey Mantle, and Juan Soto. Jones at age 19, Mantle at age 20, and Soto now at age 21. And so that's pretty good stuff right there. Now I will tell you that with Major League Baseball, I can't ignore this. I've been debating whether or not to talk about this or not, but we're gonna let it know. Or anybody who buys a ticket, waits online, then when the gates open up, they hand the ticket, they walk in. I mean, how do you identify these people? How can they be banned from Major League? I know if they get caught, it's trespassing. Okay, and then Major League Baseball is going to have to live with the fact that they take these the abusers, these guys who abuse their wife, girlfriend, whatever, and these guys get a suspension. They don't get banned, and yet you ban 2 females. I think if you allow the dogs to come to the ballpark on Dog Day, you got to allow the females to come in on Saturday. Saturday used to be Ladies' Day at the ballpark, and then a bunch of men got together in a group, and they called that discrimination. Remember that, Unholy Toledo? Used to be Ladies' Day at the ballpark, right? And now they're banning the ladies for sure. There should be Boob Day on Saturday. I mean, you talk about increasing attendance in Major League Baseball, with it being legal in so many states now to walk around topless. Why not? All right, if that's what they want to do, then let them do it. It is. Malpal has joined us. Good morning, Malpal, from the great state of San Diego. Unholy Toledo's got something to say about all this, okay? And I know. Listen, I'm the biggest boob in the whole chat room, so we'll see. Let's talk about what's going on in the. It was on Fridays at Wrigley. Well, you know what? They should jazz up the promotions a little bit. If a female wants to come in and take her top off, then it's allowed. And I'm telling you, if people go to the ballpark just to bring their dogs, would you go to a ball game if you knew it was topless Thursday? I would. You would. I definitely would. Okay, thank you, Andrea. How about topless Tuesday? Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay. On the road again. All right, by the way, Andy feeling much better, so we are still enjoying our trip, and thank you all so much for coming into the chat room. Body paint Saturdays. There you go. All right, let's talk about a couple of free agents, some of the key free agents, and it's going to be fascinating to see where they go. First of all, I hit on Garrett Cole before. Look, he backed out of his. He's been suspect for some arm or shoulder injury. Okay, and he had a less than serious hamstring injury. Okay, so Cole is all he's done since joining Houston in 2018. He's posted tremendous numbers. And every pitcher that goes to Houston, that's why we think that maybe Zach Wheeler may wind up in Houston. But the Angels and the Dodgers could try to bring back Garrett Cole to his native Southern California. The Braves could reach for him if they don't sign, and I do think they'll sign Madison Bumgarner. And the Phillies, if the Phillies opt not to sign Rendon, they could be in the mix, of course, for Garrett Cole. But the Yankees are going to be in there. The Yankees, if you remember, drafted Cole out of high school in 2008. He didn't sign. He played for UCLA, and that's it. And they tried to trade for him 2 years ago. So I'll tell you, with CC Sabathia going, the Yankees, and once again, there's no talk of the Mets, and I think the Mets have to change that. Now, I mentioned Madison Bumgarner. Where do you think Madison Bumgarner goes, okay? Constant rumors about him going were flying all over the place before the trading deadline, okay? He has been, he has been vented. He had a good year this season, okay? His body has recovered from the shoulder and hand injuries that sidelined him in 2017 and 18. So we have that to talk about. Yet the velocity spike he enjoyed in the middle of the year, it was only for a couple of games. But his hard contact rate is trending upward. That we know. But still, Baumgartner is going to be a hot commodity for clubs who need a tried and true ace. And the Cardinals are always involved. The Padres could be involved. They need that veteran starter. The Brewers, the Dodgers, the Angels, the Minnesota Twins. It's all the top teams, okay? But I think there is no greater threat than the Atlanta Braves, okay? They might have to replace Dallas Keuchel atop the rotation. But I think offering Baumgartner, who grew up not far from Atlanta in North Carolina, big freaking deal about that. But I'll take the position that looks like Madison Bumgarner could very well wind up with the Atlanta Braves, who could be. Does anybody in the chat room think that Washington's going to be the favorite next year? Certainly, if they don't sign Rendon, they're not going to be the favorite. It looks like Atlanta could be the favorite to win next year. He'll be age 30 in 2020.
He's only 30.
Yes, he is only 30 years old. Madison Bumgarner.
Marcell Ozuna.
You want to talk about Marcell Ozuna?
Yes.
Okay, Marcell Ozuna. He was pretty good in 2017 with 37 home runs. Okay, for the Miami Marlins. He slumped a little bit in 2018, but of course he looked pretty good last year. Okay, the Cardinals might re-sign Ozuna, but they have a lot of outfield depth. Okay, and they may. I'm not sure if they're going to let Ozuna go. Cincinnati has an outstanding starting rotation, a foundation for a strong offense. Adding Ozuna to the mix could help Cincinnati really make a move. So Cincinnati would be one of the teams that I think could jump all over Marcell Ozuna. Josh Donaldson.
34. Geez.
He'll be 34 years old. By the way, Ozuna will be only, let's see, how old will Ozuna be? Ozuna's 29, okay? Josh Donaldson, where could he go? I think Donaldson, Texas, if they decide to make a move, and I think they will, two free agents could wind up in Texas. One would be Didi Gregorius, and the other one could very well be Josh Donaldson. Two veterans, no question about it. And I think that's is Zelmo here? Mm-hmm. Oh, Zelmo has made it in. Good morning to Dr. Z. So nice to see you all here. Thanks, Zelmo, for coming in. Everybody, Doug Boyle, DK Lush, Greg, Malpal, Phil, Only Toledo, and White Sox Al. I'm trying to talk low because Mommy is sleeping, okay? She'll be getting up. Hard to do podcast in somebody else's house, all right? It's with the ungodly hour. Don't forget, it's 3 hours earlier here. Holy cow. Anyway, it's the ripe old time of 6:15 right now. So we're getting it done, as Tony Sincato would say. Getting it done. The Donaldson, I'll tell you something. He averaged 37 home runs from 2015 to 2017. He had a terrific year this year. Could be voted comeback player of the year. Fixing their hole at third base would go a long way towards advancing their comeback in the American League West. Donaldson could slide into the Shin-Soo Choo spot at designated hitter in 2020. So I'm thinking that Donaldson could wind up with the Texas Rangers. Also thinking that, don't forget, Yankee shortstop, Didi Gregorius, he could very well also wind up in Texas, okay? Texas doesn't, Elvis Andrus could be gone. I looked through every team at shortstop, and not a lot of teams really need a shortstop. But I think Didi, who underwent Tommy John surgery last October, he's maintained above-average power. Not many contenders have true needs at shortstop. And the Yankees may wind up keeping him, but I think they're going to keep Gleyber Torres at short. The New York Mets, another team, they want to move Rosario to the outfield, and I saw Andres Gimenez playing in the Arizona Fall League. I didn't see one thing that excited me. Not one thing. His his presence on the field. Defensively, he may be pretty good. At the plate, nothing. I think that was my biggest disappointment. Jimenez showed me absolutely nothing. Wouldn't be surprised if Didi made the switch over there. I mentioned Zach Wheeler. Boy, I'll tell you what. Zach Wheeler, translating some good numbers on the field. His talent is tantalizing. Okay? If you remember, he entered the majors as a coveted prospect back in 2013. Averages around 97 on his fastball. His slider is about 91. He could be a top target for starting pitching needing teams in the offseason. Do the Astros need him? But I think that this would be Wheeler would want to go to the Astros.
Yeah.
Okay?
I can't believe he's 30.
The Astros did, according to Ken Rosenthal, the Astros did go very hard after Wheeler before pivoting and going for Zach Greinke. Okay? So, what's that?
He believe he's as old as Bumgarner.
Who, Wheeler?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wheeler and Bumgarner. Yeah, that's interesting. Andy's right. Who do you think is older, Zach Wheeler or Madison Bumgarner? Maybe Bumgarner, but only by a couple of months. Nick Castellanos. Wow. You got to take the position that he's going to wind up in the American League. But, boy, oh boy. Cleveland, we all know, needs that outfielder. And they will need the outfielder even more because it looks to me like Yasiel Puig is not going to stay on the Cleveland Indians. Now, Castellanos, he could hit. Since the start of 2016, he's put up some tremendous numbers. And he has been in a salary drive mode since going from Detroit to the Chicago Cubs back on July 31st. So he didn't get a qualifying offer, so there will not be a draft pick compensation attached. It looks to me that even though Cleveland is going to want to save some money, and they're going to cut back big time next year, putting Castellanos into the mix could be something, especially if they lose Yasiel Puig. And I'll take the position that Yasiel Puig probably, there's a good chance he's going to go to the Chicago White Sox. I think the White Sox are really going to be taken seriously next year. I thought they'd be taken seriously this year, actually. Okay? What is Andrea doing? Okay? Yeah, I know. That's not what I was looking for. Okay. So Puig, okay. Of course, Cleveland landed Puig, part of that three-team deal with San Diego, where Trevor Bauer went to Cincinnati. I'll tell you something. The wild horse is what they call him. He could wind up in Chicago. They have a team of there's a lot of Cubans, and they're in dire need for a right fielder. Okay, they flirted with Puig in the off season. They've shown a willingness to spend a lot of money on a brand name star, and I think that Yasiel Puig may wind up going to the White Sox with Roberts. I mean, what an outfield that could be if Puig goes to the White Sox. Okay. They could have an outfield, let's say Luis Robert, whatever he is, Eloy Jimenez, Adam Engel, Lurie Garcia. This could be a very interesting team out there in Chicago. So I'm thinking that Yasiel Puig is going to go to the White Sox, and I think Nick Castellanos has a good chance to go to Cleveland. So to me, those are really the top grabbers for the free agent market, and it's going to be so interesting to see how they work out. Of course, some of the other free agents of lesser demand, Travis d'Arnaud at age 31, he had a tremendous comeback year. He's going to make somebody open up their pocketbook. Yasmani Grandal's got a $16 million mutual option, so it's got to be mutual. I wonder if Grandal is going to pack it up, unless he gets a long-term deal. Yasmani Grandal, that could be pretty interesting. Over at first base, you got Jose Abreu at age 33. I think he sticks with the White Sox only because of what I mentioned, that Cuban contingent is going to be very powerful. Very powerful. Starling Castro, he's got that $16 million. It's a club option, but I think that they'll keep it, and I think they'll try to trade him at the trading at the winter meetings. Brian Dozier, age 33, he could command a decent amount of money, but age 32, 33. You got Josh Harrison at 32. Howie Kendrick is 36. Moustakas is 31. You got all these guys capable of playing second base. Moustakas has an $11 million mutual option, so he could opt out as well. So a lot of aged second basemen. Jonathan Scope is going to be a free agent. He'll be age 28. So this is going to be a very interesting winter meetings that's being held out there in San Diego. Freddie Galvis, $5.5 million club option. I mentioned DD over at third base. In addition to Josh Donaldson, Jed Jerko with the $13 million club option. I think they'll let him go. Jung Ho Kong at 33. I think they'll let him go. And Anthony Rendon at age 30. I would have to say that Anthony Rendon is going to be extended by the Washington Nationals. I cannot imagine Washington, although they'll say, listen, we got rid of Bryce Harper, and what happened? We're in the World Series. What happens if we get rid of Rendon? Maybe we'll win the World Series. We'll see. As far as left fielders are concerned, really, J.D. Martinez can opt out of his contract. His remaining 3 years would give him about $62 million. Andy, are you opting out? Because you look very much like you've already opted out. Okay. And Blake Swihart at 828. Will he ever get a chance to do anything? In center field, Billy Hamilton's days are done. Adam Jones is 34. Starling Marte got an $11.5 million club option. That's going to be picked up. No question about it. And, of course, in right field, Cole Calhoun with a $14 million club option. Abisail Garcia is age 29. He should get some play. It's going to be an exciting, Puig is 29, by the way. It's going to be a very exciting offseason. Now, as far as pitchers, you got Chris Archer, who probably with Neil Huntington getting fired in Pittsburgh, Chris Archer, $9 million club option. So I think that they will keep that option. Yu Darvish can opt out. His next 4 years are around $81 million, around $20 million a year. So Hugh Darvish is going to be it. Cole Hamels at 36, a free agent. Dallas Keuchel at 32. Wade Miley at age 33. These are all the free agents that are able to opt out and become free agents right after the World Series. Hyun-Shin Ryu at age 33. I just got to believe that the Dodgers are going to dig deep down and sign Hyun-Shin Ryu, who had a tremendous year this year. Really propelled the Dodgers. Steven Strasburg can opt out of his remaining 4 years and $100 million. That's a tough one, but you think he will. 4 years. I think they're going to extend Rendon and Straw. They can't let those guys go. Just can't do it, especially coming off the year they had this year. Okay. Relief pitchers are going to be tough. Dylan Betances at 32. He'll be out there. Greg Holland at age 34. Kenley Jansen can opt out of the remaining 2 years, but he's going to have enough trouble just staying on this Dodger team and being useful. And so to me, not a lot in the closer category. That's the way it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Reporting live from the great state of Seattle, wherever we are. We're close to Seattle. Andy, by the way, as I mentioned before, feeling much better. We will make a decision on which way we go in just the next couple of days. So I've got to thank everybody for coming in this morning. I really mean it. DK Lush, Doug Boyle, Malpal, Phil Chaplin, Unholy Toledo, White Sox Al, and Zelmo. Got to thank you all so very much for being part of this. We'll be back tomorrow with some more. The World Series game tonight could be the last baseball game of the season. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you again tomorrow. This is not the way anybody should live.